come to the dedication of the image he had set up. So the satraps, the prefects, the governors, advisors, treasurers, judges, and magistrates, and all the other provincial officials assembled for the dedication of the image that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up, and they stood before it. Then the herald loudly proclaimed, "Nations and peoples of every language, this is what you are commanded to do. As soon as you hear the sound of the horn, the flute, the zither, the lyre, the harp, the pipe, and all kinds of music, you must fall down and worship the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar has set up. Whoever does not fall down and worship will immediately be thrown in a blazing furnace." Therefore, as soon as they heard the sound of the horn, the flute, the zither, the lyre, the harp, and all kinds of music, all the nations and peoples of every language fell down and worshiped the image of gold that King Nebuchadnezzar had set up. So I just talked about excuses, and I feel like as I look at this picture, there are probably a lot of people in this crowd using the excuse of, well, everybody else is doing it. Verse 8, at this time, some astrologers came forward and denounced the Jews. They said to King Nebuchadnezzar, "May the king live forever. Your majesty has issued a decree that everyone who hears the sound of the horn, the flute, the zither, the lyre, the harp, and the pipe, and all kinds of music must fall down and worship the image of gold, and that whoever does not fall down and worship will be thrown in a blazing furnace. But there are some Jews whom you have set over the affairs of your province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who pay no attention to you, your majesty. They never serve the gods nor worship the image that you have set up." So we have a person in authority that has just had their authority provoked. And we know how this usually turns out, but we're going to continue. Furious with rage, Nebuchadnezzar summoned Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So these men were brought before the king. And Nebuchadnezzar said to them, "Is it true, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, that you do not serve my gods or worship the image of gold I have set up? Now when you hear the sound of the horn, the flute, the zither, the lyre, the harp, the pipe, and all kinds of music, if you are ready to fall down and worship the image I have made, very good. But if you do not worship it, you will be thrown immediately into a blazing furnace. Then what God will be able to rescue from my hand?" A few things here. These kids are being threatened with death. And I call them kids because theologians believe that they were in their mid to late teens. And now Nebuchadnezzar has just provoked the true God. But what I want you to see is how God responds. It's not in anger. It's in protection of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego replied to him, "King Nebuchadnezzar, we do not need to defend ourselves before you in this matter. If we are thrown into the blazing furnace, the God we serve is able to deliver us from it. He will deliver us from your majesty's hand. But even if he does not, we want you to know, your majesty, that we will not serve your gods or worship the image of gold that you have set up." Can we try to step into this room for a minute with them? This furnace has to be so hot. I actually looked up a campfire temperature versus a modern day cremation fire. So a campfire is about 600 degrees Fahrenheit, and a modern day cremation fire is 1,400 to 1,800 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm going to assume that they can feel the heat from anywhere in this room. And when we feel the heat, there is always a threat, whether it is real or presumed. These kids are being threatened with death from two sources: the actual heat that they are feeling and the heat that Nebuchadnezzar is dropping on them. Yet they stood firm in their faith with God. To be honest, I don't know if I can share in that confidence. I was just having a conversation with my new friend Carla the other day, And some realizations came up thanks to her insight. I personally have a hard time believing that deep peace can coexist with chaos. I personally equate chaos to death. And when the heat is turned up by someone or something, anger comes out. Anger isn't actually the feeling that I have, it's just a byproduct of learned behavior, and it comes out more than I wish. But I pressed into this anger with the Lord earlier this week, and what I'm actually feeling is helplessness. I don't want to feel helpless because that confirms the thought that I don't have authority in my job, motherhood, relationships with other people, the list could go on. And the anger is a temporary medication, but it backfires because it makes people not want to co-labor with me. I am showing up different. When the heat turns up, we are tempted to be something different than God has created us to be. We have a tension inside, and when the heat comes, to either stay faithful like Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, or to let go of our faith and be someone different. It's the same with the excuses that you came up with last week. Your excuses indicate what you are afraid of losing. When the heat or threat is there, what are you afraid of losing? Is it a job, control, authority? What do you equate to death in your life? Is it chaos like me? Shame? Regret? Isolation? The truth is, the excuses we make are defenses from the heat. They are what keep us from getting too close to the pain of losing something that we have turned into an idol. Whatever you are afraid of losing is pointing you to what you have misplaced trust in. I think my job is my provider, not God. I think I'm in control of things instead of God. I think my identity comes from my authority, not from Him. And getting close to the risk of losing those things feels like stepping too close to the fire. Back in our story, in verse 19, then Nebuchadnezzar was furious with Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and his attitude towards them changed. He ordered the furnace heated 7 times hotter than usual. So I looked this up. The historians thought that the temperature of the fire was set to as hot as it could be. And they believe that it was about 2,000 or more degrees. So that is hotter than the modern day cremation fire that we use today. He commanded some of the strongest soldiers in his army to tie up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego and throw them into the blazing furnace. So these men, wearing their robes, trousers, turbans, and other clothes, were bound and thrown into the blazing furnace. The king's command was so urgent and the furnace so hot that the flames of the fire killed the soldiers who took up Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, and these 3 men, firmly tied, fell into the blazing furnace. There's fire in there. Then King Nebuchadnezzar leaped to his feet in amazement and asked his advisors, "Weren't there 3 men that we tied up in the fire?" They replied, "Certainly, Your Majesty." He said, "Look, I see 4 men walking around in the fire, unbound and unharmed, and the 4th looks like the Son of God." The 4th person is believed by a lot of theologians to be Jesus. Nebuchadnezzar even says he looks like the Son of God. It's a reminder that Jesus shows up in the trials, in the fire, and he walks with us. He doesn't always remove it, but he will be in it with you. Nebuchadnezzar then approached the opening of the blazing furnace and shouted, "Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, servants of the Most High God, come out, come here." So Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego came out of the fire. And the satraps, the prefects, governors, and royal advisors crowded around them. They saw that the fire had not harmed their bodies, nor was a hair on their heads singed. Their robes were not scorched. There was no smell of fire on them. Then Nebuchadnezzar said, "Praise be to God, to the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, who has sent his angel to rescue his servants. They trusted in him and defied the king's command and were willing to give up their lives rather than serve or worship any god except their own God. Therefore, I decree that people of any nation or language who say anything against the God of Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego be cut into pieces and their houses be turned into piles of rubble, for no other God can save this way. I don't want you to miss this part. It is huge. This is how our God works. Again, these kids were supposed to be turned into Babylonians, but their faithfulness results in the king of Babylon praising their God. And he's right. No other God can save this way. None of the things that we are protecting can save us in this way. Your job cannot save you in this way. Your reputation can't save you in this way. Your title cannot save you in this way. There is a raging war in our chests that isn't seen. I believe that was true for Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. What I think they knew was that they could still have deep peace in the chaos. They understood that the fire might not leave, but neither will God. I believe that they had already encountered the refining fire of God. And let's be clear, getting close to that fire feels just as scary. But it is the only way to burn off the things that we are clinging to, afraid of losing. When we have already lost the things that we're clinging to, the fires of this chaotic world aren't as scary. What can they do? It's really interesting that the furnace that Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego was thrown in was most likely used to extract and purify metals from ore. These three men had already submitted to their lives to God, no matter what the cost. They knew that their lives weren't theirs, and they were ready to go through the process again. Galatians 2:20 says, I have been crucified with Christ, and I no longer live with Christ, And I no longer live, but Christ lives in me. The life I now live in the body, I live by faith in the Son of God, who loved me and gave himself for me. Until we take these excuses, these lies that we let control us and put them to death, we will not ourselves daily, because really we belong to Christ. Everything we have, even our breath, it comes from God. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego say, even if. By daily death to ourselves, even if God doesn't remove the chaos, we can show up as the same person. I want to invite the worship team back up. I'm going to walk you guys, or teach you something real quick, and then we're going to walk through it together. It's a process to help us identify what we are afraid of losing. It's what owns us. This is the process that I did with the Lord earlier this week that came up with the helplessness. So we have the O of owns, observe. We're going to sit and notice what is popping up in our mind without judgment. We have welcome. Instead of fighting or running from the feeling, we're going to acknowledge it and we're going to welcome it in. And again, no judgment. We are going to name it. You're going to give it a name, and maybe it's represented by an object. And then we're going to submit. So I want to take us back to the fire that we started at. I want to invite you to either close your eyes or you can focus on the fire that's on the screen. But this time, I don't want you to stay in your comfy position. In your mind's eye, I want you to remove that blanket and stand up. I want you to step close to the fire. I want you to feel the heat intensify. Now, with this fire in front of you, I want you to see how that blanket has held you back. That blanket represents the excuses, the thing that you are using to keep comfortable. What is it? This is our observe step. Now I want you to welcome it. Remember, this is just acknowledging it and bringing it closer to you. You don't have to like it, and there is no judgment for feeling this. And now I want you to name it, and I want you to visualize it in your hand. It's okay if that blanket has morphed into something else. Mine is a two-headed snake. One head is the anger, and the other is the helplessness. Maybe yours is a title plaque at work. Maybe it's a dollar sign. What is that thing? Now, when you are ready, and this is a big step, I want you to submit the thing that is not allowing you to be the same person of faith in all different spaces of your life to the refining fire in front of you. I want you to throw that thing in the fire. And I want you to relish in the burning of that thing. And now that you're standing at that fire, I want you to imagine that Jesus is there with you. Maybe he's standing next to you. Maybe he's standing across from the fire from you. And I want you to look him in the eyes. I want you to tell him that you are sorry for letting this thing have such control over you. And then I want you to ask him to give you something in return. It could be peace, rest, closeness with him. Mine sounds a little weird, but he gave me a shield and an old phone made out of the Bible. That meant something to me. Whatever that might be is so much more comforting than what we were trying to provide for ourselves. You are precious to him, and he wants you to have his eternal protection and peace. And now I want you to thank him in whatever way that seems right for you. You can stay in this place at the fire with Jesus if you want, but we're going to move into a time of response. I'm going to invite the prayer teams to come down. When we encounter the refining fire, when things get burned off of us that we don't want anymore, it tends to give us a different perspective. And so I want to encourage you, as you have a different perspective today, go get prayer. Pray into whatever you just burned off, or pray into whatever gift Jesus gave to you at the fire. We also have communion down front and in the back. You have a different perspective. Come take communion, looking at the death of Jesus differently this morning. And if you have never stepped into a relationship with Jesus and you're feeling that tug this morning, that you just want to do life with him, please come down and let these people pray through that with you. Let's worship.
fights till I'm found. Leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it. Still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. And I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. And I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. Totally overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it. Still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it. Still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
I just want to bless you guys this week as you go out and the world comes at you and you are tempted to show up differently. Press into the deep peace that the Lord gives you. Lean on him this week. God bless y'all. Have a great week.